Good. Rest in peace, Eric. He's in Orlando dying.
Isn't he visiting family though? That's a noble thing.
He's taking his seventh, his 7-year-old daughter out with the family. It couldn't be hotter in Florida right now, and he's being a good dad. But if you're not here, we like to say R.I.P. That voice, that other sultry voice you're hearing on the mic during the intro, how unprofessional.
Who?
Is Alex Abel?
Alex Unprofessional Abel.
Abel? I'm gonna get shit for mispronouncing your last name.
I get Abel, I get Abel, Asbel, whatever.
Abell. Where can they find you online?
So personal brands, I_am_Abel.
Mm-hmm.
I am
Georgia,
from Georgia, and I like pie.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I am Abel. But then I guess we're going to talk a little bit about my new brand, Lunchpool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on other social channels. Let's Lunchpool.
Do you want to bring in part of your team as being the co-host of this podcast?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Mike's over here as well.
You see yourself on screen?
Hey, I exist.
Why don't you pull over this way a little bit more so I can keep you in frame? This is going to be a little bit of a sloppy podcast because I don't have Eric or John Paul. Slopcast. Ooh.
First-time podcaster. Happy to be here. Michael Dimmitt.
First-time podcaster. All right. I like it. This is a big one. You popped your cherry. We only got – look, when you do stand-up shows like I do and you do them in bars and you don't have a lot of people in the room and you're hosting, you have to go, hey, we're small but mighty. That's what I like to say about this podcast. We got a couple thousand listeners, but it's a good high quality, I like to say, because they don't really engage very much. So
we'll get them to engage.
Well, I want them to engage with this app whenever you do launch it to the public. So Lunchpool, and we're gonna have the rest of your team. They're gonna fucking come in like a bunch of hobos later.
Yeah, Paul and Megan. If you don't show up, then you're dead to me.
Look, I hate to make the racist joke, but are they Asian? No. I mean, they're late. Let's just put it that way. They're stereotypes for a reason.
So I called Paul, and I'm like, so you coming? Left him a message, left him another message. He calls back. He's like, hey, what's up? But we went out for a couple of adult beverages last night.
We had fun last night.
Yeah.
No excuses. Look, I'm here.
I mean, I'm here. I woke up.
I went to an art show, and I wore hot pants and my Patrick Swayze tank top because I didn't know it was a really fancy art show. And I was not sober.
Wait. I thought hot pants were like tight pants that you wear under a skirt. Is that not?
That's a skort.
Oh, okay.
I think like the spork of women's wear. No, but I was
serving proudly.
I call my hot pants just really short shorts because I got huge legs. That's where all the power's at.
Gotcha.
I was just on fire last night.
Man thigh for days.
I was like riffing bits better than I do on stage, just in public. It was fun. So that was fun at Lot 1901, and we're in Tampa Bay. We're in the hot enclave of Ybor City right now. But this experience y'all have with to create Lunchpool is something that's ubiquitous around the country, especially in white collar America, right? So explain to the audience what you guys are working on.
Yeah, definitely. So we are building an app. It's really a platform that helps you connect with other people around you, because what we've identified is there's a desktop dining epidemic. And it sounds crazy because it is, but look around your office.
Yep.
If you work in an office, or if you maybe work at home,
to give people backstory about you worked in kind of big corporate America of sorts, I'd say.
So I had corporate roles for the past 10 years, and I just kept looking around, and there's people eating salads over their keyboards, not taking lunch breaks at all. And some of the best experiences I had with connecting with my coworkers and getting good work done were built over relationships that we formed over lunch.
Yeah, I'm with you. I used to think the other way, Gordon Gekko style, lunch is for pussies kind of thing. And now I've totally flipped that. You know, it's about being thoughtful to make the time to eat with people.
Yeah.
And And there's always a ritualistic thing, or basic kind of psychology that we break bread with people. There's something to it, and then if you really want to do like a CX kind of thing, a customer experience of like how would you rate me as a lunch mate?
Yeah,
you're gonna get a high score because if you have a decent meal, people are. We always talk about when you do a review, right? When you ask for a review for your business or brand, try to get it like a wide receiver.
Okay.
Hear me out.
I'm listening.
When you get this beat into your head when you play football, catch the ball at its highest point. Always catch the ball at its highest point, or else no one else can get it, right? So you have to figure out the physics of that as you're moving. It's really tough, but what they're basically telling you is you get it at the highest point, no one else can get it, right?
Unless they're taller than you and they get it at the highest point.
Well, but you got to get right in front of them, right? So Rondé Barber, one of my favorite players, he's 5'10". He still would scoop it out of people that are 6'5". It's more about being in the right position. Or Steve Smith is a great example of a wide receiver who created space. Basically, what I'm saying is you want to catch people at their highest point and to get a review in business. With this, I think when you make relationships, doing it over a meal, I used to think was very flippant or very, just like, it's like, this seems like a waste of time, right? We can just have this conversation for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Why do we need food in there? And I'm on the Atkins diet, but now I've totally flipped the other way. Is what I'm saying is I think there is a lot of value in that. You just have to create the time to do it.
Yeah, and I think that so we found a book called Never Eat Alone. It's Keith Ferrazzi. He's a New York Times best-selling author.
He wrote it while eating alone, probably.
Potentially. But it's this whole concept of it seems like a waste of time.
Yeah.
But it's emotional work. It's like getting to know people, connecting, breaking down barriers, and we're so entrenched in technology these days.
Yeah. Like
just communicating on Slack and stuff, you miss out on eye contact, body language, all these things. Like we could be talking for a year on a communication tool,
which we have. You and I have 5 different ways we're talking.
Yeah,
it's a little confusing.
It gets super confusing.
We have Slack, we have text, we have Facebook Messenger, but yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, did we really have that conversation?
Right.
I can't find it anywhere. But just face to face, that's when you kind of let your guard down a little bit, especially over food because you're eating. It's you're in that primal zone where you're breaking bread with someone else.
Well, do they eat like an asshole too? I think that's part of your upbringing.
Yeah, we talked about when you're eating, like, do you have bad eating form? And Alex is like, you're thinking too much into it.
No, that's what I was about to say. If you just made the scoop with the hand when you eat like prison style, put your arm around it,
like soup all in the beard.
So what? With every good idea, there's always a need, right?
Yeah.
That's Business 101 for anybody listening. So for the uninitiated, this is a podcast about kind of finding your hustle and trying to figure out what you're doing. You guys are in the middle of it. You're doing literally the sweat equity right now.
Yeah.
And hence the titular, kind of reference for
Shameless
the show.
plug for the show.
Yeah. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes, all things.
Hit them at that high point.
Well, you got to hit us at that high point, but also you want the cheat code as a 5-star on iTunes. We need the rate and review. Write 1 sentence.
I'm gonna go do that after this.
You know what?
I encourage all listeners to go do that after this.
I'm in June. I made a pledge to myself. That I'm gonna whore myself out to get as many reviews for my brand Tocobaga.
Yeah.
TOCOBA.GA. If you want. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, .ga. We're fancy like that.
Tocobaga. I always mispronounce it.
Tocobaga. I don't even know if that's how it's pronounced, but that's how I pronounce it because it's an Indian tribe that was in Tampa before white men eradicated
cultural appropriation.
Well, that Tampa means sticks of fire, hence our logo, which is a campfire. But our whole theme, and I'm going to bring this into y'all. See how I weave this in real classy.
I got a strategy for you.
Well, we're sitting around a campfire. That's our whole thing. Is like we're strategizing what our next move is. And so as a business consultant offline, that's what we kind of do. And then we execute a lot of services online.
Yeah.
We're bringing both worlds together. For y'all, you have the HOV lane as your, well, it could be a vagina, a very pointy vagina. This is what Asian vaginas look like. I don't know if you guys know that. You guys know that?
Wow. Okay, so this is never going to make it onto our official Facebook page, but
Oh, did you not know the slug line for this podcast is pragmatic business advice with dick jokes?
yeah, that's true.
So you're always you've been on the podcast.
I'm sorry.
This is-
I'm
you're-
sorry, Mike's grandma. If you see this,
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Oh, is she gonna
she's-
find this? Is she a big podcast listener?
she's actually
She
one of
she
our
likes
beta
podcasts.
testers. It was a hilarious beta test that
Well,
we did. It was
My
very
grandma will
good.
be okay with it. She likes a good joke.
Yeah, you know what? I find that the shows that have the older clientele, the older people, they actually like the dirtier stuff because no one talks to them about it.
Mhm.
So, speaking of which, when I worked at a mutual fund company in LA, very corporate, I ate at my desk all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And so I definitely empathize with the idea. I think there's a need for it for sure. And I see the kids that do what's the one group chat? It has a red Solo cup as their logo. There's a lot of kids doing group video chat as a younger generation. Like I'm talking like 13. We're in our 30s. I'm in my 30s. I don't know how old you all are.
I'm in my
but-
30s.
Yeah, but I mean, like there is this video group chat kind of thing. I think you're catching a wave at a right time
Mhm.
where it's becoming a little bit more. The technology's gotten there where you can do it on cell service.
Yeah.
We decided to make the lunch pool a brunch pool today.
Yes. We have food. I was told not to eat the food because apparently it's disgusting when you're on a podcast. to
It's
eat
fucking
food.
gross. We don't have to play it like I didn't say it.
I'm gonna eat one chip. I'm gonna
Yeah,
eat one
let's see
chip
what
and see what
happens.
happens.
Try to talk
For-
while you eat. Wow.
That bums people out jogging.
Some people like that. It's there's a whole YouTube community around people who just make weird mouth noises
Yeah.
into the microphone.
It's a bunch of letters.
Audio, sensory,
ASMR.
Yeah.
And I think Alex is part of that community.
I love it.
He is
These are
now.
my people.
Yeah. Grandma ain't gonna like this comment, but how do you like that? There's probably some dudes jerking it to that to you, chip
Chip eating.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Think about that,
All right. Well,
but don't
whatever.
think about that, Graham. And we're back.
So one thing I was gonna say though, if you need to get more reviews, you said you're gonna pimp yourself out to get these star ratings and comments.
Guerrilla
and all that.
style.
Guerrilla style.
Yeah.
So
I'm
what
gonna
bet-
hound y'all before you leave.
what better way than use our app, go have lunches with people, and then while you're at lunch, be like, hey, while we're here, captive audience.
Now, for business minded person like myself,
Mhm.
I'm trying to do as many video chats instead of phone calls.
Okay.
So kind of it may not be the actual lunch. I might use it in a different fashion.
Yeah.
Have you found that? Have people that
So
I'm not so much lonely as I am. I have to be so time efficient right now.
Yeah.
In my 2019 campaign to unfuck my life.
Yeah.
And I try to schedule everything through Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess would be a competitor of sorts. But you're not really looking to Zoom to have lunch with people.
Yeah.
Is that something that y'all thought about as far as like this has a lot of tentacles that can go?
Yeah. There's limitless opportunities for business development and for feature development. So right now we're doing a friends and family launch.
Feature development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Mike's a developer as well, so he could bore us all, but impress us all too.
Boris.
I won't.
Boris!
People like to hear about
Yeah,
the
I'm
technology
picking
perspective.
on you, but there's like limitless options. So some people are like, oh, well, you should go partner with restaurants, and you can monetize there.
No.
And I yeah,
I hate restaurants.
well, fundamentally, I love restaurants, but I'm not
I
going.
love going.
Yeah, well, I think
I don't like the business.
they're getting squeezed so much for their already thin margins.
They're
so-
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Let's just that we've said it on this podcast. You start a business because you're really good at one thing usually, right? A local business.
Yeah,
But you don't know shit about running a business.
yeah,
You make a good pizza. You don't know how to run. Other half of it is the business side of it.
yeah. And there's some good business owners out there, but they're getting hit up constantly. So our
That's another thing.
Yeah.
They're taxed.
So our avenue is the restaurants are our marketing partners because we can show off their food. My wife's trying to FaceTime me.
Do it.
Hey, baby.
Bring her in. That's fine. She's in Germany, right?
Hey, baby. I don't know if the sound works today. Can you see on the camera? This is my wife.
I can't close in on it, but
There's my
hey,
daughter.
missus. Hey, baby.
Hey.
Hi. Your daddy's on a podcast.
Hey, baby. I'm going to call you back, okay?
Your kid already has a
Bye.
podcast, probably.
Probably.
He's our.
I love you. I'll call you back.
The baby's our CEO.
Baby's the CEO.
she's
All of our executives.
She goes to jail if you guys fuck up.
I mean,
It's real fucked up, guys.
Juvie, she'll be out when she's 17 or whatever. She's
That's true.
chief eating officer. So we have a ABC suite.
You did one of those cute kind of
Yeah, we have a few kids in the company.
It keeps
declarations.
It keeps us grounded because the kids are our future. There's 3 of us that have children.
Yeah.
And so we have a CPO, a CEO, and a CISO.
It's cute, guys.
So we have the chief infectious smile officer.
There's the door. You can leave whenever you want.
What's
It's
the
our-
CPO?
Chief pooping officer.
Oh
I
my
figured you like
God.
that one.
Yeah, well, I'm a fan of poop humor, but it's when it's a reach.
Yeah.
All right, so you just hung up. They're in Germany. You just hung up on them.
Well, she said call her back.
All right,
It's all
all right.
good.
Yeah, we try to keep this to about 33 minutes. So if your team shows up, they don't. Whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to be back, I'm sure, because
yeah.
I really like this idea. So where are y'all at? What's going on? I feel like I've cut y'all off as far as giving the short pitch on it. So by all means, take it away.
So the app right now is in a friends and family launch, and right now we're able to create groups, and you can have a lunch. We're releasing it to a small market, and we're getting feedback. What other features do people want? Those get onto a prioritized list, and then we make decisions on what's technologically feasible
Uh-huh.
and what to build next. And these add-ons are actually good. We have our main pages, which is our foundation.
Okay.
And then we have these additional pages that we can try out. We can add them and remove them pretty easily.
I get into programmer mode as well. I know how you're site mapping it out as you're talking it.
Yeah.
I like
Whoops.
it. No, it's fine. Let me try to help. So, because I'm with you on that. I know what you're saying, but for those listening, you have your main crux, right? You have your main it's to fulfill a need that you're not a bummer at the office, and you're eating at your desk, and that is lonely. But you might be surrounded by a bunch of cubicles, a bunch of people, but you still might be lonely, right? And so what you're talking about is that's the crux of it, and then there's a bunch of features that can be outlaid after that, right? Yeah, maybe something.
Yeah. You
So
can set up
here's the quick pitch. So and I'm working on this too. So one of the things about starting a business is you're all
Get an LLC. No one does that.
get
For
an
some
LLC.
rea-
So
for
we have
some
an
reason.
LLC, Lunchpool LLC. We also have a DBA, so we
Get
can
a
just be
DBA.
Lunchpool.
It's $50. Yeah.
But you always have to refine your pitch, and it's going to grow over time, just
Yep.
like your brand.
Mhm.
So here's the latest one that we have, the quick one.
Yeah,
It's-
nothing's precious. Nothing's in stone.
Yeah.
It's going to change. And what you guys, look, we may talk in a couple months and you go, oh, we found out that fucking coal miners love this.
Yeah, we pivoted, and now
Right,
we're
right.
we're not even in lunch anymore.
Well, if you listen to How This Got Made, I think is a podcast.
Good podcast.
It's great. It's like the professional version of what we we would want to do. But it's like every app that's on that podcast, that app was something else beforehand.
Yeah. So here we go. So Lunchpool is a tool to inspire empathy. There's nothing more shared than the human connection to food. Feed not only your belly, but your need to meaningfully connect with other humans. It's only through shared stories and shared experiences we get to truly connect in ways that inspire innovation. It all begins with breaking bread. So our app can help you find people to break bread with, connect, and connect with your higher sense of purpose in your work.
So we're really, your copy, your brand message is really hitting an emotional tone.
Yeah.
Empathy, I think, is big. We talk about it a lot in this office and this podcast. I think it's kind of everything. You have to have empathy and ego to kind of do your own thing.
Yeah. There's a
Too
balance.
too much of both. So we took those Asher Strategies personality tests, and I was really satisfied to see my empathy ego was 80% in both, and that's a good sweet spot.
Okay.
Too much ego, you're Gordon Gekko.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't even see you had a make lunch great again hat.
Oh yeah, I get some
I've been-
interesting looks when I go out.
Well, I've been getting called alt-right lately, so
Oh, wow.
I don't know why. I couldn't look crunchier if I wanted to, but I guess I'm alt-right.
Yeah, but I think the core thing that we're trying to hit on is if you've worked in a corporate role, or even if you work for yourself, you know that it's lonely. There's emotions that come into it. It's
Entrepreneurship's isolating. It doesn't matter if you're mom and pop shop. You got a team around you. You silo yourself out because you have to, and then you go, is it because there's so much risk involved a lot of the time for every entrepreneur? no matter what, it's going to be isolating.
Yeah, and it's not only that. It's like even if you're surrounded by people in the office, you still we all put on these masks in the workplace where we're like, I can't let people know that I don't know what I'm doing.
Which is why Friday late shows stand up comedy is the worst.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Steve Martin said that's why he quit doing stand up.
Why is it?
Well, let's go through the spots. You got an 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock show usually at every comedy club.
Okay.
The Friday is when you got people in an office that go out for happy hour afterward, and they let it ride until that 10 o'clock show. 10 o'clock show is notoriously shitty, and that's why
Just
everybody's
like hecklers or
just drunk people not paying attention, just like everybody's everywhere, and
they're
now
let loose.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's it does have to do with what y'all are fulfilling as a need. Those needs aren't met because they can't have a real conversation. We're so PC'd out.
Yeah.
I always said me doing stand-up is kind of like, here's the things you can't talk about on a normal basis that you want to.
Yeah.
And that's, if I get real...
it's got to be cathartic.
Well, yeah, if I get real kind of righteous about it, that's why I feel like that is a little bit of what we're doing. But at the same time, I just say I'm at a barbecue and I have a louder voice. But you're fulfilling. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, really, is what y'all are fulfilling.
We're trying to get people to self-actualization, which is the top.
Well,
but some people are in like
that's an interstellar like, trip.
Oh yeah, but some people are like right now, like they don't feel safe at work to even talk about their needs. So.
Well, and now they're fed a bunch of horse shit by the media. That's like everything needs to be PC and everything's this and like you can't say this and you can't say that. You can ask questions on like what's comfortable to talk to someone about. I feel like we have more fucking opportunities to talk about, to communicate than fucking ever, and we suck at it.
Oh yeah,
we fucking suck at it.
A really cool component with lunch is that at the end of the day, it can be just lunch. It's just lunch.
Right.
I was using the app on Friday. I'm in Tampa. I work remote.
Yeah.
And I used the app to reach out to people on the friends and family lunch to go have lunch with someone. I ended up having lunch, and I met someone new and had this business conversation where I talked about all these startup books I've been reading because this person
throw them out there. What
was
you
in
got?
real estate.
Hit us with the.
I have their card.
No, the books, the Lean Startup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I've been
Scaling
reading the Lean
Lean?
Startup. That's my favorite book.
Okay.
Slicing Pie is about a dynamic equity split.
So the whole podcast, we want to always throw out like a couple pragmatic tips. So this is great. So you're
So what I really like as a quote from the Lean Startup is there's a portion that says, find the person you want to be on the team. Some people like to be speccing out the new technology. Some people like to be the business manager and outsourcer. Some people like to be the worker to just buckle down and tackle the features. And so that's the idea, is you want to just find out where you can bring the most value.
Right.
And when I heard that in the Lean Startup, it helped with some conversations at lunchpool. The Slicing Pie is about dynamic equity split.
Okay.
And it also talks about a grunt fund. And this idea of grunts is very much what we're up to.
What's a grunt fund?
So a grunt fund is where you have either prior to your first round of funding, you have what's called a pie, and then you allocate that to a certain amount of what you expect the value of the app to be.
Okay.
And then that becomes validated when you finally bring on an investor. And then the pie actually becomes bigger when you bring on an investor.
Okay.
So you give up your equity stake. They might get 50%, and your team gets 50%.
Okay.
But now the pie is twice as big. So if they come in with $1 million valuation, your company's now actually valued at $2 million.
Okay.
If they come in at a 50% stake.
Interesting.
And the idea with the grunts is that they usually travel in packs. So if you bring a grunt on your team, they're able to find other grunts, and usually there's a grunt leader.
And speaking of grunts, your grunts are coming in, I think, right now.
Yeah.
No, Alex just dipped out to go grab them if anybody's watching on video, but
he didn't agree with something I was saying, so he jumped off.
He was really mad. Well, it wasn't kosher.
Lunch is better with friends.
Oh
he needed
man,
to go for a walk.
He's talking off mic too. How embarrassing. Why don't y'all pull up right there? I've got a mic for you here and here. You might have to pull that chair in over there. Feel free to have a seat. We're going. You don't have to wait for Paul. You can sit down, grab some cans, put them on your head.
Get ready to join the roller coaster.
Yeah, this is a wild ride. So let's see here. Let me see if I can bring you in. This is what we call dead air.
Do you want me to slide?
Dead air.
You're as long as if you turn around, you can see yourself in frame. You're fine because I ain't moving it.
Do you want him to come this way?
Yeah, but you can't hit that camera right there. Shout out to Mevo Camera, the most frustrating camera on the market. So let's bring y'all in so we can get your voice. You can have this mic over here. You're gonna have to hold that one like a rapper, probably.
Like this, like rapper like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever watch The Breakfast Club, I mean, anybody? No one?
Paul's in the
This
house.
is the whitest room I've ever been in. Okay. Why don't you introduce yourself so we can get everybody? This is more of an audio podcast, but we do video as well.
I'm Megan, and I'm a pilot on the lunchpool crew, doing social media and influencer marketing.
Hey, I'm Paul. I'm the one straddling this Mevo camera.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do social media marketing, but the opposite side of what Megan does, so performance marketing.
All right. So this is a heavy crowd we have in here. As far as we've never had 5 people on the mic, so
Yeah, Law was like, if we get more than a couple of people on the podcast, it's terrible. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna bring the whole crew.
Well, I mean, literally, this is what y'all are fulfilling as a need. We're kind of manifesting it as a little bit, and so there is a need to meet up for brunch. There's a need to meet up for lunch. There is some value in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We just found there's a hierarchy of needs for business that we found in Harvard Business Review. That
Is
I
it a
thought
new
was,
one?
yeah, they did it for business though. I'll send it over to you. We did a whole episode about it, but I want to talk about. I want to keep going back to why this happens, and we've talked about. I've been depressed before, not in a workplace kind of setting other than this.
Yeah.
But
How long have you been freelancing?
well, I mean, I'm
Forever.
I guess I've never considered it freelancing because this is the business I've owned for 4 years.
Gotcha. Okay.
So technically, we're freelancers as a business, but
I guess I meant outside of the office. You haven't been in a corporate role for.
oh no, not
a
since
while.
09.
Yeah.
So I worked at a mutual fund company called Dimensional Fund Advisors. One of my old bosses won the Nobel Prize for economics. No big deal. And then I worked for a mom and pop shop that was a air purifier company called Rapid Air out of Pasadena, and I did a bunch of stuff for them. So I got kind of that part, and then this part, and then I worked for a franchise group called Solo Salon Studios. So I've had kind of every part of it as far as what bucket you file into,
Mm-hmm.
big, small, franchise, corporate, whatever you want to call it, and then started this up. And I've always done stand up on top of that. So at night, been doing stand up for over 10 years. So I'm a weird guy in that respect.
Very used to rejection.
Yeah, no, seriously, failure makes you better. You're gonna fail more than you. I mean, God, I just got back into stand up after taking 10 months off, and it hurts. It's like working out after not doing it after a while, or going for a run or something, and it's like, okay, I'm getting out of breath going up the stairs, but I know this is better for me if I just run stairs for
I
a
feel
while.
like you're literally talking about me right now
Yeah. Well,
after coming up here.
I was trying to yes and that breathing, but yeah. But we've talked about. I know Alex and I have talked a lot about the mental part of running business or just being. You're kind of like what I call a sniper in a business. You're kind of a hired gun in a corporate setting because you're probably way younger than you should be for the position you had previously. A wonderkin, a prodigy, big-footed guy, whatever compliment I can give you. But talk about some of that necessity as far as the mental part of this.
Yeah. So some of the most productive meetings I've been in are meetings that there's like 6 or 7 people piled into a room, and I just say, what are we talking about? Like, I just drop all pretense and say, does anybody really know what we're talking about? And
Which, by the way, good move.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you're zoned out.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, true, yeah,
That's my
Power play.
that used to be my move. Hey guys, let's take a step back.
yeah. Let's circle back around. Yeah, all the buzzwords, but really just challenging people to say, does anybody actually know what we're talking about? Because sometimes it's just one person in there that's trying to get everybody on the same page,
Right.
and everybody else is just waiting for the meeting to be over with.
Alex, are you talking about the meetings where we have elephants in the room and we're trying to find the truth on why we're at that meeting? Or?
Maybe not even in the startup world, but like in the corporate world, you have just meetings on meetings on meetings, and nobody's really knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of sentiment is what I feel like
It's a lot of wasted time.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck is this? Why are we doing this? Like,
Yeah.
You want to just scream that all the time.
And so we have that sentiment is so widespread in corporate, but also in just work in general these days. It's like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Right.
Is it fulfilling my needs? Is it just a paycheck? Is it whatever it is? And so like
it's a self-actualization. Like,
Yeah.
people don't do that enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the unquestioned life is not worth living kind of stuff. I've been telling everybody lately, this has been working for me as far as
We got heavy too. This is getting a heavy podcast. I like it.
The business is psychology. I mean, look, dick jokes are the great equalizer. That's why we have them on this show a lot. But it's the thing of like, what to get me out of being depressed. What I did is I had to really self-assess. This is last summer. And I go, okay, what do I know that works?
Mm-hmm.
For me, working out. I grew up in a family full of athletes. It's kind of, dad was a former NFL running back. So it's like, I got my mom's genetics. But but I know like mentally that keeps me stable. So I got to do that every day, right? And I know that'll get me out of a lot of the funk. And any pity party stuff, any victimizing. Man, I can't believe I'm in this position. I would just start going for a run, or I'd start working out. That works for me.
Yeah.
Now I think about this in diets too, right?
Mm.
People talk about I got to eat this, and you need to do keto, you need to do this, you need to do whatever. And it's like, no, you need to do what works for you.
Yeah.
What we don't do is the daily journal of like, hey, I ate this. This made me feel like this. My energy level's been like this.
I tried that. It's hard to get in that groove.
It's really hard. No, don't get me wrong. A lot of things are easy. Answers are simple. Execution's tough.
Yeah.
I think that's what separates us as a business here. I think it's on our site.
But for me too, it's like, so one of the things I learned from this is that I had some businesses before and they crashed and burned. And it was because we were talking about ego. Like I self-destructed. So like having people around you
or burned out.
I
think you burned out.
Both. Yeah. Cause I had 3 businesses at the same time
while working
and trying to graduate college. Yeah.
And married. You have a kid.
Well, this was before being married, but being able to have people around that'll keep you grounded and kind of let you burn out, but kind of pick up the slack. That's huge.
That's why I'm going to pitch. This is how I'm going to have to end this episode. Where are we at? Can someone see the top left corner in there? My eagle eyes.
32.
Perfect. All right. So, I got 20/20 vision in one eye, 20/15 in the other, but I can't read it because everything's a little foggy. I'm a little hungover. What I would say is you guys need to have your own podcast about this whole process. We talked about it off mic before we started. Is like we should start mini documentary of the work you're doing. Mm-hmm. As you can see, you can do it in a lot better fashion than we do it, but you should show the sloppiness of getting the startup going, but also you guys have the video. You guys are literally doing video all the time. You should be capturing that.
That's all Paul, too.
So you're capturing that. Capture that. Find a through line. See if you can make a mini doc. See if you can make a whole doc out of it or something. Because, hey, maybe this has a life and maybe it doesn't. But maybe that I think the process of what y'all are doing right now and the idea mixed with that, I think is really interesting.
Yeah, I've been pretty quiet, but largely because this dude's awesome. I just want to hear him talk.
Well, there's 193 episodes of Sweat Equity on iTunes, Spotify, Laughable app. That's where you can tag your favorite comedian. And then if I get on anybody else's podcast like Tinfoil Hat about conspiracy theories, it'll pop up on there. Shout out to Sam Tripoli. But it's one of those things where, we're running out of time, but actually, just tell everybody where to go. What's your call to action, sir?
Let Paul do it. Paul, what's our call to action?
On the
spot. Yeah.
So you can definitely follow us on social media. You can largely find all of our accounts at Let's Lunchpool.
Lunchpool.
Yep. We're also at letslunchpool.com.
All right.
Or you can reach out to any one of us directly.
And then maybe get on. Can they sign up? Like we were talking yesterday. Did you make the sign up sheet to get on the beta testing?
Yeah. So you can actually go to the website.
Ooh,
you can click.
man of action.
You know it. Click on sign up for the beta, And then we'll be reaching out soon to show you that kind of next steps when you can start testing this bad boy out.
So get on that list. You listen to this podcast, you made it all the way through. You can literally get on this list. This isn't some hokum pokum that you'll just be on some list that you'll be on a marketing list forever.
Yeah, we won't sell it or anything like that.
Again, small but mighty. So let's see who shows up.
And let's Megan, what's your one takeaway from being on the Lunchpool team? She's one of our newest members, so I'd love to hear some parting words maybe. We got him to come all the way out here.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's a fun team, and if you want to see all the behind the scenes, like they said, follow Let's Lunchpool. We're doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of video and a lot of fun food. So
All
make sure
right.
to check it out.
Sweat equity.
That's been the podcast. Thank you all for doing this.
Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity.
Good. You gotta do like Jocko. Good.